Firstly, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Burton, for meeting with me.
That's all right.
For the record, if you could just tell me your full name first.
My name's Clifton, that's me. And my surname's Burton. My Christian name's Clifton. Surname's Burton.
Okay. And if you could tell me your date of birth and your place of birth as well, please.
Well, I was born in Jamaica, as you might know, about 1926. At a place they call Thornton in St. Thomas, Jamaica, yeah.
Can you describe your early childhood memories to me at all?
Well, only to say, like, things is different from it is here, like, the opportunity is not here, but of course we did have school. We had elementary school. I went to school when I was like 7. For in them days, you didn't go to school until you're 7 unless your parents could afford to send you to private school sort of thing. But your proper public school was at the age of 7. And then you had to leave at 15 unless you could afford to pay for further studies. For even now in Jamaica, you don't get free education apart from the ITs at school from the age of 7 to 15.
Right. Do you remember, did you enjoy much of school?
Well, I did like school, yes. I done very well at, considering, yeah. I mean, whatever I know now, I have picked up a lot of things here, like, because traveling is education on its own, like, but I did go to school there. I come here and I worked, as I said, on British Rail as a shunter until I became a foreman, and I went into the office at Owlby. I was solo in charge and I managed, so therefore at least I could read and write. You know, I've learned a lot of things here, but I didn't learn to read in England. I come here when I could read and write. I was 30 years old, yeah.
Just to take you back a little, did you have a favourite subject at school?
Maths was my favourite.
Maths.
Maths and religious education, yeah.
Why?
I don't know, like, the method of teaching, like in Jamaica, at the time I prefer it to here. For first of all, you got to study your tables very well. And I tell you, like, once you know what tables, then maths become easy. You know, and like we used to have to know your tables. I tried to get my lad to study tables, for it helped to do maths. So I used to like maths for some reason. And like religious education, I like, like tell you about when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea and how they got to pay the tax and he was born in a manger. These things like you learn from school days.
Where did you come from, a religious family as well, or at all?
Well, most people in Jamaica are religious up to a point. Perhaps they don't even like go every Sunday to church, but most Jamaicans are from religious background.
So was your family moderately religious, or was it?
My family was religious. Mother of fact was Methodist. I went to a Church of England school, see, and then I developed from there. And then the church was a church school. So actually, like, from the time I went to school, like, that was it until I left, come to England.
How many brothers and sisters were there in the household?
Well, I've got 3, like, it was like 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and I would be 5, like.
Okay, were you the oldest or the youngest or in the middle?
The second.
Second eldest.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you remember much about doing? What kinds of things did you do outside of school? Was there work to do in the house or for your parents?
Well, you work for your parents, like once you left school. Well, even though you were at school, you work with your parents, don't you? Like, and when I left school, the year again I went to learn at shoemaking. And I could make shoes in them days. I forgot now, but I used to be good at it. And then, as I said, I do a bit of farming as well before I came here. Well, I did work in a factory there for a while, coir factory. You know what they call coir? You know, I work in that factory, which was a good job at the time, but of course it didn't last long. So after that, just doing casual work before I get the chance to come here.
So, just to take you back again a little, what was it like growing up as a teenager in Jamaica, in St. Thomas?
Well, to me, well, as you know yourself, we were more mannered when we. I mean, you couldn't go on the way they got on now. Like, I mean, even at school, I mean, the teacher got the cane and the strap in it. And if you didn't study your lesson, or even if you was late coming to school, you would get a bashing, which I think was cruel for half the time. It wasn't your fault why I'm late, but that's it for parents. Find your jobs to do, and by the time you do it and have some breakfast, you got to run to school, which makes you late. But in them days, our teacher didn't care about that. It comes 9 o'clock, they lock the door, who was in staying, and when they open that door, everybody what was at that door get the cane for being late.
How old, I mean, what age is the youngest person that was caned? I mean, what age did
It doesn't matter what age you are from, you go to school at the age of 7, and then if you misbehave from that very same day, you would get a strapping. Oh, I can remember now, the teacher has got this strap they call Dr. Jack. That was the name of this strap. He named this strap Dr. Jack, but then he got the cane as well. Oh yes, it's different from it is here.
So where were you generally caned, on your hands or?
On your hand, like you got to stretch your hand out on the other one, and if you didn't want to do that, they get you over your back. You got no choice.
Were you caned many times?
Not really. Looking back now, I wouldn't count myself as a bad lad. Like, at least my parents were strict as well. See, so you didn't have much time to go half the rails. Like, you know, parents was very strict. That helped me as well. For I was to go to Sunday school every Sunday, whether you like it or not, and then to church in the evening. You know, so. I reckon that helped me as well, like about my religious education, yeah. So that's it.
So you mentioned earlier, after you trained to make shoes.
Yes.
How long was the training?
I was 12 months before I was like properly trained, like, you know. And it's not like in England where you go there to learn the trade. You get some pocket money every weekend. There you get nothing. You got to rely on your parents. At the age of 16, you go there and you work with that man until sometimes you get as good as him. But what you work doesn't belong to you. It was up to him, like if he gives you some pocket money and half of them wouldn't. Things was very hard. Oh yes, it's different from it is now. Yeah.
So what happened after the shoemaking?
Well, that was what I said. After I finished the shoemaking, I had a job. Then I didn't live by the shoemaking. For work wasn't enough to keep you up for a living. Like, so as I said, I went to work in a coir factory. You know, and then from that, after the coir factory, after I lose that job, it didn't last. The place went bankrupt. So I went and do a bit of farming. My dad left a bit of land, and I went and do a bit of farming then to make some money.
What sort of age were you at this stage?
Oh, by this time, like I'd be in my 20s, 24, 25, you know, around there.
And as the second eldest, did you have any kind of responsibility to look after the younger?
Well, of course, yes. In Jamaica, like especially I hadn't got no father. My dad died when I was 6. Had an accident, leaving 4 kids. So it was the old idea and around. So you the bigger one that was to help with the smaller one, see. Yeah.
What kind of accident was it, if you don't mind me asking?
He had a fall, you know. Yeah, that fall over a precipice. As far as I could understand, I was too young to know everything, but then he fell over off a bridge. You know, they couldn't break his neck. So people had it to say he was pushed or something, but they couldn't prove it. Like after I was in England, I went back and I understand that somebody confessed to say they pushed him off the but of course in them days nobody died that much notice, you're dead and that's it. You know, that's how things was.
So after your father died, were there many other people, like the extended family, to support your mother and the children?
Well, like you got your grandmother and grandfather at the time, they help. A matter of fact, I grew up with my uncle, see. After my father died, I went to live with my uncle. Same St. Thomas, but at a different district, like. So it enables me to go to school, like. A matter of fact, it did help me a lot, for the school was nearby where I could run to school, like. But if the ones that stopped with my mom, they didn't have the same opportunity as me. Like they had to walk about 3 miles to school. And
so you were with your uncle from the age
from I was 7.
From 7.
Yes, until as I till I was about 28, and then I left town at the age of 28, buy a little 2-bedroom house for myself, and I lived there until I come to England. I've sold it.
Did you still have, whilst you lived with your uncle, did you still have a lot of contact with your mother and...
Oh yeah, yes, of course, yes. Oh, well, as you know, perhaps, well, you don't know about India, but in them days, your parents, like, that's what your parents had to look forward to. Some people have loved their kids, and when them kids get up and start to work, then they help their parents in it. Because they used to, so only your parents used to have to look forward for anything on it. Oh yeah, as I say, speaking to the Indians, they were the same as us. It was a poor country, underdeveloped country, and the parents had us to cater for the kids. I mean, there was now government handout, was there? You know, your mom and dad and your uncle and everybody. It was closer family than it is now. For everybody used to help each other, like, you know, yeah.
So you talked about buying a house and then selling a house.
Yeah.
In your late 20s.
Yeah.
And that was still in St. Thomas.
St. Thomas, yeah.
But a different district.
No, the district where I went to school.
Right.
Wilmington.
Right.
That was the name of the district, Wilmington. I was born in Thornton, and then I left from Thornton to live with my uncle in Wilmington.
Okay, and that's where you bought the house.
That's where I bought the house, yeah.
And you sold that house?
Yeah.
You sold that house before
yes. That was part of my passage. That was.
So why? How did England come into your life? What made you want to come to England? What was happening?
For work, I mean, if other people after the 1952, I think it all started. Well, after the war, as you know, they wanted a lot of labor in England, and the door was open then for all Caribbean people and Indians. That there was plenty of work here, so.
Did you know anyone here?
Well, yes, I had a cousin that came here 52. So it was him. When I come here 56, I come straight to him. Which it wasn't very nice then, for all they had then was rooms. You know what I mean? You didn't have any house.
Yeah.
You rent a room from somebody like, and you was in that room as a lodger. You know, so I come to stop with him, and as I said, I was lucky in them days you could find work, so I went and got a job in Darlington. I came here on the Sunday and I started working on the Monday. I worked there for 6 months, and from there I went and got a job on the railway.
Just to take you back a little then, how did you travel to England?
Castle Verde, the ship, passenger boat then. In them days, took 18 days.
And do you remember much about the journey?
No, it was a pleasant ship. I mean, there was about 300 of your youngsters. I mean, it was like a family again, wasn't it? I mean, you were there 21 days together. You know, there was everything there, like, you get your 3 meals, and at night you could go to the theatre there, and, you know, it was like living in an house. I mean, you get your shower and everything, like, you know, it was a pleasant trip, really. Very pleasant.
What were you thinking in your mind? What expectations did you have of England?
Well, first of all, I thought if I could go to England and get a job, earn some money, I would give myself 5 years. Then after that 5 years, which most Jamaican would do the same. Everybody come here for 5 years. I thought I come here, get some money, go back, and then start to do something for yourself, you know. Because as I said, Jamaica is mostly farming, like, and if you got a piece of land, you could go and cultivate it and grow what you like and raise some animals, like a few chickens and a few pigs and a cow, anything like that. I mean, it was self-support. You didn't, there wasn't lots of jobs, so you actually had to work for yourself, you know. So that's how it was.
Do you remember the date when you came into this country?
I got here, and as I said, yeah, I left Jamaica on the 2nd of August.
2nd of August.
I got in here on the 23rd, I think it was. I left Jamaica the 2nd, and I got here the 23rd.
23rd.
Oh,
August.
of August,
52.
yeah. 56.
56.
Yeah.
56. Okay. And when you first saw England, your
Oh God, I didn't like it at all.
where was that then? Where did you?
Wolverhampton, I got off the train, you come to Dover, and they take you by a train.
What did you think of Dover?
Strange, but it was alright. At the time, I didn't mind, it was alright, like. But you didn't see a lot of it. You come there and you off the ship onto the train and straight away.
Yeah, you were saying straight away on the train, so you didn't get to see much.
That's it. So you come straight to Wolverhampton. I got off the train, which was up at high level where it is now. At that time there was 2 stations. There was low level and high level. I got off, walk up to the town to catch a bus. The trolley bus in them days. Although it was August, but to me it was early morning and it was cold. All I got on was just a little shirt, and you know, we wasn't prepared for any cold. That was the reason I came that time. Like, we thought it would be nice and warm, but even so, early morning, see, with the kind of clouds you got on, you still feel the cold coming from Jamaica where it was over 100, you know. But as I said, I didn't like it at all, and then I went down to Clark Road, where my cousin was living, and, you know, as I said, living facility was very bad. He couldn't accommodate me at the time, for he was living with his friend. So they had us to, after I settled down, had somewhat to eat, like, he says, we got to go and find somewhere for you to spend the night. So we start walking, knocking at doors. People keep saying, oh, now I can try next door. You know, the usual stuff.
You were going to black houses, or were you knocking at?
There was not many black houses, but you was just knocking at a house. I mean, you was desperate. You want somewhere to stop, so you, not every house, but you know, you knock here and knock there, and till we went down to Lee Road, and there was number 9 Lee Road. They said, well, you can stop here, but you got to share. So we had those to stop with 2 people I've never met in my life in the same room. You know, you didn't rent the room, you rent the bed. You understand? You didn't rent the room, you rent a bed For there was two other people there, which you never met in your life, but of course, the Jamaican, they make friends easy. So by in a couple of hours time, everybody now what's my name and I know their name, and you start to become friends, you had to.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived there for, well, only 6 months, I think. And then I went, there were a lot of blacks living on Waterloo out then. And then I had a friend from back home. He was living at Waterloo Road and he was living in a room by himself. So it was a lot better for me then, because I was living in a room, sharing a room with a friend that I know from back home. So it makes quite a bit of difference than living at this other place where you didn't know the people, you know what I mean? So which were from there, and like as I say, from there my cousin, the same one that I came to live with, he went and bought a house down Sherburn Road, and that was even better still. I went to stop with him, and there I was like until we left from there. I went and got a room for myself, you know. And then that's where I met my wife, like, for the place where I went to live at Waterloo Road. The people who owned the place was her family. So I met her there, like, and we got married in 1960,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so we've lived, and then as I say, like, I come to live here in 1964. I had a place down Bushby Line. The railway in them days, they got some houses, see. So because you was a railway employee, you could apply for one of the railway house, and trouble is good with the job. If you leave the job, then you got to leave the house. So whether you like it or not, you had also stop on the job.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was pretty cheap. In them days, good years, money was about 3 times the amount to what you get on the railway, but you live on their property, so you had also to work for them.
So what about, earlier on you mentioned when you first came here, you came on the Sunday and you started work on the Monday
On the Monday, yes.
in a place in Dallas
In Dallas, on the EC and JK, James Bridge,
for 6 months, and then shortly after you got the job
on
the
British
railways.
Rail, yes.
So what was the job on the railways for? To do what?
Shunting, you know what shunting is? You're out in the yard, you move traffic about. See, that way it comes in again. If you couldn't read, you couldn't read for. There was like labels on the wagons, and you had to like select them, like, and you know that's what shunting is all about. There's different labels for different places, and like you got a shunting engine with the driver, and you got to sort them out, put them on the different routes. You know, you got different routes for like the Bristols and Southampton and whatever it is. You got to sort them all out for they comes in blocks, you see, and then you got to segregate them.
Mm-hmm.
For when the train comes now, he picks up all the Southampton, or if he's going to London, he picks up the London train, because you've already sorted them out, see. It's like sorting out letters,
Yeah.
you know.
So, over the years, you were there about 30...
33 years. I didn't have I spent 28 years there in Windrush Yard,
Mm-hmm.
out in the yard, no matter what the weather was, day and night. Shunting, it don't matter what the weather is, you couldn't say, well, it's raining, so you can't go outside. Soon as the train comes in and the foreman says, come on, you gotta go there with your shunting power. It don't matter what the weather was, don't matter what time of night it was. And my God, in them days the weather was bad. The frost, the frost was an inch thick, and the fog, good God, man, you couldn't see anything in front of you. And then there was like some little paraffin lamp, what you got to use to give the signal to the driver.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was really, really rough. Looking back now, I wouldn't do it for a pension. Now, looking back now, but I worked my way up, like, and as I say, I left from there to Howleby. I wish I was there before, for that was a better job.
So what were you doing in Oldbury?
On the platform, like, I was like working on the platform, seeing to the trains when they come in and out, like, make sure that you have the doors shut and sell the ticket to the passenger and collect the ticket when they come off the train, you know. It was a better job as far as I'm concerned. I've left from that job until like I was bad with my hip.
Mm-hmm.
So I was left there 1987, had an hip replacement. And then I was like, that is it.
Have you experienced, or can you talk about any experiences of any discrimination that you've experienced?
I was lucky that in that respect, you know, I know a lot of people have trouble with that, but I suppose it depends on yourself sometime, really. I've never go looking for arguments like when I went there, as I said, just come, when you went to Windrush to work, in them days you got like, there was 17 white men in that yard, I was the only black. And especially a place like Windrush, they never see a lot of black people. Wolverhampton, Birmingham, London, then in the big cities, there will be a lot of blacks, but a place like Windrush, Darlington and that, they hardly see a black man. So I went down there and you can imagine what it was like the first morning. They took one look at you, especially the one bloke there, like when you go there, like if there was an overtime and once you get the job and you start to work, then you actually cut the overtime out, don't you? So you can imagine that. I was coming there now to get to work, and now I was going to work a shift of 8 hours, stopping that man working 12 hours, which 4 hours would be overtime to him, and I'm going to stop all that.
Mm-hmm.
Because instead of him working 12 hours, he was only going to work 8, because I come and make up a shift, you see.
Mm-hmm.
So it was easier that.
So you're saying people were unhappy because
Well, especially the one man, he got a lot of kids and he depend on the overtime. And with me coming now, it was going to cut the overtime down, you see.
Is this what he said to you?
Yeah, of course.
But your employer obviously wanted...
Oh, no, the employer want you because the employer... That's it, the employer didn't want you. Well, even now, the employer, it's not in their favor for you to be working overtime, is it? If they got enough men that you can do 8 or 9 hours, because overtime was time and a half on it.
So what did you, when this gentleman was saying to you that you were...
I was to stand up to him. I mean, well, there was a good Samaritan there as well, Eric Tyler. He helped me, like, he said, well, look, he now I come 6,000 miles from Jamaica for a job. And I got to live as a human being, and he was very, very nice, man. Mm-hmm. He took me in them days. The parents used to live in Windrush. I was living at Wolverhampton here, I said, that lodging. And he even took me to meet his parents. Good God, the way they look at you like as if they was frightened for... There was older people, see, and they were setting their wives. They never met any black people coming in their house, and... You know, they were looking at me as if they were afraid, but there you are, see, because, you know, the chap Eric, he was a lovely chap, you know.
So, after, in that situation, obviously the parents, Eric's parents, were, like you said,
very apprehensive, like, but
after meeting you...
After meeting me, like, and talking to me, asking me where I come from, this time as I'm doing now, they seem to settle down a bit, like, well, he must have told them before that he was going to bring this black kid, you know, and as I said, they agree. But then, as I said, when they met me, like, you could see the way they was looking at you, like, you know, and, but then after a while, they settle down, make you a cup of tea, like, and then he took me back to my lodging in Wolverhampton. As a matter of fact, it was him why I stopped on the job for, he helped me a lot, you know, like, they put me to work with him for in them days, you used to have mates, like, you know, one man didn't work and you got to work two, like, you work in tours, like, and I was that lucky. Well, as a matter of fact, the gaffer then, at the time, he could see that we would get on very well, see. So he booked me to work with him. Well, others would say, I don't want to work with him, I don't want to work with him, but this kid now, he was very nice. He says, I'll work with him. I remember him telling the boss, he says, look, I'll work with him. And I work with him and he teach me everything that he knows, and I try my hardest because...
So was he older than you? Was he roughly
roughly the same age, yeah. Roughly the same age. And we've been friends ever since.
So did you kept in touch?
We've kept in touch.
Right.
Every Christmas he send me a card and I send him one. We've kept in touch.
That's really good to hear.
Good.
And he's still based in Winsbury?
Well, that man, he's been retired ages now. I mean, he's the same as me. I'm 73.
But he lives
So he lives in Windrush. No, I think he's gone to live in Waterloo now or something, yeah. Oh, yeah, but I can thank him for my achievement for us. I come there as a dead stranger, didn't know anywhere, didn't know anything. He taught me all I knew. For in Jamaica, there wasn't a lot of railway. I've never seen a railway signal then. I didn't know what it was all about. And that chap, he nursed me. He nursed me, mate. We went down to this pub, which was next to where we work on the station. And this woman, old Martha, she was the owner, the publican, and she never met a black man in her life. And I walk in the pub that day with my mate, and she went round the back, and him had us to go and have a talk to her. All this she didn't tell me, but I could use me laugh when we went in there, and then she went round the back, and he went after her to say, well, then look, he's a human being. I suppose for that woman was very old at the time, so you can imagine with she being old.
Did she serve you in the end?
She did, yes. Well, she didn't serve me, she served him. Because it was him what took me down for a drink. I hadn't got no money.
Yeah.
And as I say, we went down there, and by the end of the week, she was coming around she started to, she seen me talking to that chap which was white, and she could see that I wasn't, So by the end of the week, we were all right.
Why do you think the white people in this country, like some examples like the ones you've just given me, why do you think they behaved the way they did?
Oh, because they were narrow-minded one. They never travel anywhere, and they didn't know what it's like to travel from one country to the other. I mean, perhaps where they live, they never even go to the next door town, you know what I mean? So they thought, well, that's how it is. They didn't know about traveling to another country to meet different, especially black. I mean, as far as they're concerned, everybody should be white, shouldn't they? And then to meet a black person, it was something strange. It's not strange now from the kid born in the hospital now, they see black in it. And they see, and the white see black and the black see white, so things are completely different now. But in them days, I mean, when I come to Wolverhampton, you could go uptown there and you wouldn't see a black woman. Very, very, very few. And even if you sat here and if you go into a pub and a black man walking, so the friendship was there because you was all the same. Like you walked in and you didn't even know what your name, but you would come over to with a pint, sat with you and get talking, and before you know where you are, you would know about each other, and friendship would develop from there.
Can you briefly talk about what it's been like bringing up children in another country to the one you were born in?
Well, again, as I said, it's completely different. Looking back now, you could say that our parents was cruel. The way they treat you, things was hard. You couldn't go there and just have some biscuit out the tin without you ask, and it was very limited. You would be lucky if they did have some biscuit that you could ask for one of the biscuit, or a drop of sugar, a sweet, or things wasn't as plentiful as it is now. See, my kids, from the time they grow up, they come, if the biscuit was there, they says, Dad, can I have some biscuit? You says, go and help yourself. But it wasn't like that in our place because things were really hard. We was poor. We had nothing. So they grow up different. You had was to share. You got 3 brothers and sisters, and whatever else they had was to share. Like, you couldn't afford to have 3, 4, 5 pair of trousers with you. You know, so it was completely different. Then as I said, like, I was glad in as much as I could make life easier for my kid than the life I had. Because it wasn't easy. I mean, the things kids doing now, like, there's no reason for them because opportunity is there, jobs is there, plenty to eat, and what have you, they get pocket money. Nowadays, you never have a penny because your mama and dad couldn't afford to find you any pocket money. They didn't have any for themselves. You know, so it's completely different.
Do your children think of this country as home?
My son, well, he born here, like you, like this, he down now nowhere else. He's been back to Jamaica about 3 times just on holiday, but he couldn't fit in. I mean, it would be hard for me to fit in now, never mind him. He's been back 3 times, I think, and met his mom and dad. He didn't met mine for my mother died then. My mother died, as I said. My dad died when I was 6. And then my mother died while I was here. And in them days, there was now if anybody, your mama or your dad died in Jamaica, now you just go and book a trip from Waterloo, you go to the funeral. The day when I come and they tell me that there was a messenger boy come here, the next door neighbor tell me, and now it was my mother that died because she was very ill, like. I couldn't do anything, but I had a sister down at Vandale Road, so I was to try and make up a few bob to send to help them there, like, for the funeral. I couldn't afford to go.
Yeah.
But things has changed now, like, nearly everybody who's got bereaved from in Jamaica now, they can afford to go to the funeral and that, but in them days there was not such a thing. A matter of fact, as I said, it take me 21 days on a ship to come here, and there was no airplane going to and from like this. You can get a plane to Jamaica any day of the week now. In them days it was not like that, you know.
So, where do you feel more at home? I remember you said it would even be difficult for you to settle back in Jamaica.
Yeah.
But are you more attached to this country now, or do you still
Well,
feel...
I am now, yeah. Well, as I said, like, I got used to the way of life here now, like, and everything's easy. I mean, you go there now and it's not the same. I mean, everything, even the transport, you look where I live here, if I didn't have a car, I could just go across the road and jump on the bus. You don't get it like that in Jamaica, like, for the public transport's not as good as it is here.
And what do you think about
I still love Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yes, oh God, man. I tell you, a matter of fact, it's because of the way law and order break down, and now it's break down everywhere, but it's gone from bad to worse in Jamaica. But I was considering retiring back in Jamaica, but then again, now the way the things you've heard, now it frightens you, doesn't it? Especially people going back home, the returnees. Them a target, and it's like robbery and killing and all sort of things. So that's what I made my mind up. But then as I say, I got kids here now, I got grandkids, so you more or less, this is your home now, isn't it? You've settled here. I still love Jamaica, as I said, but I've settled here now. Yeah, as I said, I'm settled here now, like after 42 years, like, and I've got my children and my grandchildren most of all, like, I wouldn't want to leave them now, see. So, as I said, I'm 73 now as well, and hikes and pines everywhere, so I would still go for a holiday if I could afford it, you know, but I wouldn't want to, like, to go to live. I would feel safe enough to go to settle down, because I said the return is, to what I can hear of it in Jamaica now, the return is all the target, you see. They think you live in England 40 odd years, you come home with loads of money. And
so how much of society do you feel part of here? And what do you think has been your contribution to that society?
Well, I've tried everything. Like I told you, I come here this Sunday, I start work the Monday. I've paid tax all my life. You know, like as I said, I've worked. And a bit of pension now, like, and as I said, like, we got this, that same place what Delzin belongs to, Afro-Caribbean Center. Well, you know, we got this place down 372 New Hampton Road, like, I mean, in the days when we come here, you had also form like a group, because you wasn't wanted. Like, not like you that what born the time when everybody, we wasn't wanted here, so we had also farm in groups, like, and like, to get a bit of enjoyment, you used to like go and visit each other's and, you know, like have house parties and things like that. So we formed this Afro-Caribbean group down there now. And
could you tell me the name of that, just for the record? You're talking about the one on New Hampton Road East?
That's right, yeah. West Midland Caribbean Parents and Friends Association. I've been a part of that now for 30 years. Like, I mean, like, trying to achieve, like, to fit into society, like, you know, and go and sit and have a talk and tell each other's how you get on, and I suppose everybody else do it, like, you know. And like, we have a meeting once a month, and we've been doing well. We got a little place down there, we got an office where there's 3 people down there. We got a contact center, as you know, and we got a prison link worker, and then we got an admin secretary, you know, like, and the women them start on a Wednesday now having a ladies group, which they are hoping to get a bit of funding, you know, keeping people together, like trying to help the youngsters. We got a few youngsters coming into it now, like, you know, so that they can take over where we left off.
How important is it that organisations like West Midlands?
Very important. It's a pity the people so neglectful and they can't use for it. For it's very informative. When we were here earlier and like we were living here, and then we had somebody come from the Jamaica High Commissioner applies in London and says, look, you live here now, you're settled, you start to have children. The best thing for you to do now, like, to get British citizenship, because I mean, if you haven't got British citizenship tomorrow morning, the least thing they could just say, now go back where you come from. For since we came here, we've lost the British passport. As if we come here on a British passport, but Jamaica become independent then, and then you had us to apply for British citizenship. But the good part about it is that you did not lose your, we had dual citizenship. You could keep your Jamaica passport along with your British passport. And when we look at it, you thought, well, you might as well for you live here, because the Jamaica passport become hopeless anyway. You couldn't go anywhere without this questioning, because you know the name that they got with drugs and this and the other. But when you got a British passport, it's plain sail in every way. So the chap come and advise us 20 years ago, 25 years ago, to say get British nationality, and we did. Some had it for nothing. I paid £10 because I didn't jump on it straight away, but there was people that had it for nothing. It's nearly £200 now if you want, and you can, and I don't think it's easy to get either. You know. So that is it. I try to fit into society. I got my neighbours here. I've lived here 30 years. We get on all right. They know who they are. I know who I am. I got my own key for my own. If I met them outside, I say hello. We stop and have a chat. If they want to have a chat, if they don't want to have a chat, I go my own way. I'm not sure of friends. Like, I got quite, as I said, I fit myself into society, and I'm a member of that. And even the cultural centre, the Clarence Street where you are there, that's how it's come. It comes from that same West Midland Parents and Friends. It was them what started, like, meeting, like, applies like this, having a bit of chat and a bit of meeting. Then that's how it developed until we got even there for Caribbean Cultural Center, you know. The youngsters, they come and abuse it now, but we fight hard for that, man. We fight hard for that place. And then as I say, we go to the council and, well, we get a bit of help from them, and then they got Mr. Warner, like, all that wasn't in existence at the time, but we're getting better.
Do you have any predictions, finally, do you have any predictions for the future in terms of how people in Wolverhampton will get on, where they will move in terms of race relations?
Black will always be black and white will always be white. But then again, as I say, like, I hope that my grandkids will find it a lot easier than I did, because when I came here first, I went into this place to buy some, well, I thought I went to buy some cigarette. Didn't know it was a conservative club. And I stood there and I noticed nobody wasn't taking any notice of me. People was coming in, buying, and then I find out after that, but I didn't know if I'm going back a bit to the conservative club, and they didn't serve black people there. But of course, like now, I'm not saying it's open, but it's better than it was then. Because if you got in there and they refuse to serve you, they would have to say why. You know, and they couldn't say it because you're black, even though that's it, but they couldn't say it out like that. You know what I mean? So it's getting better. Definitely, I wish the people make use of it, for it's definitely getting better. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Mr. Burton, I would like to thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for talking to me.
Yeah, well, I'll talk all the kid for. Yeah.
Thank you.